Today's stock suffered a small pullback. However, what does today's pattern mean for tomorrow and potentially the rest of the trading week? And we're going to announce the winner of the 50K Take Profit Trader test account from yesterday's video. Now, we come over and look at how the indices ran across the board today. The Dow was down 349 points. NASDAQ was down 47 points. S&P 500 down 27 points, with the Russell 2000 being down 2.45. Now, we come over and look at advanced issues versus declining. Notice today we had 66.9% of issues declining on the day, which also led to the case we were likely going to get that afternoon sell-off. Now, we come over and look at how the indices spread across the board. There were only 4 sectors in the green. However, some of them were barely in the green. We had communication services, energy, technology, consumer cyclicals. Every other sector was in the red. And if you look down there at the bottom, healthcare was the big laggard of the day. Now, we come over and look at the fear and greed index. We are over into greedy territory, and we've been for quite some time between greed and extreme greed. However, are things about to change just a bit? For instance, depending on what stock you're looking at today, if you're looking at Nvidia, a big push up, and then late day started to sell off. If you look at a stock like Wayfair gapping down lower, and look at this on the daily chart. We had that rounded effect. MACD indicator is starting to roll over, and why oh why would this stock be heading lower? Look at this article right here. Wayfair, other furniture stocks fall as Trump promises tariffs for the sector. Now, we know Trump loves his tariffs, and is this going to be a big headwind out there for that sector? Now, keep in mind, Jay Powell is slated to lower interest rates at the next FOMC meeting, but then we look at the dollar index. Dollar index was actually up 71 cents on the session. We take a look at the precious metal gold today, basically having nothing more than an inside day. So far, gold has rallied back up towards the 38% retracement. If we really give way below this recent low that we had out here, somewhere in the ballpark of 33.53, watch out. Gold's probably going to go all the way down to the next swing point, anywhere from 33.27 down here to about 33.18. Now, the volatility index accurately predicted once again we are going to have a down day in the market. On Friday, the VIX was down 14%, which implied that today or tomorrow was likely going to be a down day in the market. Well, today, the VIX was up 4.15%. Now, during the live stream today, we kept talking about this. We had a large gap in the VIX, and the question was, will we come all the way down and fill the gap? And yes, indeed, we came all the way down, filling the gap. Now, if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all week long. We're going to be giving away my Fund and Futures accounts during the live stream. Now, something that was very interesting out here today was the Dow Jones. Dow Jones was down substantially more and was weaker throughout the day. And if we come over and we look real quick at the heat map, notice the Dow Jones would have been extremely weaker if it wasn't for Nvidia. Nvidia was up 1.03%. Then at a quick glance, it almost looks like every other Dow stock was in the red. I'm looking real quick to see, do I see any Dow stock in the green? And right now, the simple answer is no. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys see any Dow Jones stock on this chart actually in the green for today? We come over and look at the SPY. Look at the high today. It was lower than the prior day's high. Where was the low? The low was higher than the prior day's low. So what does this set up? This sets up an inside day. And why is this important? Well, it's going to be very simple. Normally after an inside day, the market has a breakout or breakdown from this pattern. So the question is, are we going to go ahead and turn and run right back up, potentially taking out all-time highs? Or are we going to start working our way down and fill in the gap left from Friday? Because when you come over and look at the economic calendar for tomorrow, starting off at 8:30, we have core durable good orders coming out. Then at 10 a.m., we have CB, consumer confidence, followed by Richmond Manufacturing Index. However, when we look at the 4-hour chart, notice the swing point up here. Notice where the MACD indicator was. Now, as we came up on Friday, making a new high, did the MACD indicator also make a new high? This simple answer is no, which also led us to believe we're likely going to get a pullback. Then as we come over and look at the profile right over here to the right, notice this valley within the profile. Think about this as a minus development area, AKA an inefficiency in the market. And the market loves to come back and repair inefficiencies in the market. Now, when we come over and look at the 30-minute chart, I talked about this in Sunday's video. Watch out, because as the MACD indicator was all the way up here on Friday, we simply was going sideways, and now the MACD indicator was trying to cross to the downside. We finally get that cross today, and today on the live stream, we talked about the S&P likely coming down towards the minus development area, and that's exactly where the market came down and tested at the end of the day. Now, the question is, do we reject out of the minus development area? The first time in a minus development area, we usually either will reject out or will consolidate around this area. So if we're going to bounce, I would expect the market to bounce from the current price or somewhere around 639.77, somewhere within that ballpark, if we're going to bounce and turn back up. And if that's going to take shape, could this actually set up a larger A to B equals C to D pattern? We have the impulse leg, the A to B leg. If we stopped at the low from today, that price completion would be all the way up here at 655.11. However, if we pull back down towards the bottom of the minus development area, then we'd have a price completion of about 652.47. Now, I'll make you guys aware of two amazing prop firm deals out there. My Fund of Futures, 33% off the 100K and 150K accounts on the scale and the pro accounts. Use promo code Mike, and then the prop firm with the best payout policy out there. Take Profit Trader, 40% off all their evaluation accounts, zero activation fee. Take advantage of this offer. Use the links in the description box down below. Now, before we go over and take a look at the futures markets, let's announce the winner of the Take Profit Trader 50K test account. And the winner is Eric Smith, 9479. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look for you on the email list. You have 24 hours to respond to my email, and then we'll go ahead and get the account transferred over to you. Now, as we go over and look at the S&P futures real quick, notice we were not able to get above value area high from last week. Then we started to come right back down, and we did hit the point of control. And now the question is, are we going to work our way down towards this minus development area within the composite profile? And if we start breaking below that, watch out, we're probably coming all the way down towards value area low. However, as we come over and start looking at the daily profiles real quick, notice on Friday, we have a large minus development area. We see it's highlighted in this area. Now, at the very end of the day, we did come into that area, and look, we're trying to reject out. Now, I was a little bit disappointed today. Today, we were unable to hit the P point, which came in at a price point of 6448.33. Now, the P point has a 70% chance of being hit on a day-to-day basis. Now, the simple fact that we did not hit it today, wherever the new P point is, come tonight at 6 p.m., I want to go ahead and look for that for a potential target. Notice today we had a kind of a D as in dog shape profile, which also implies tomorrow is likely going to be a breakout or breakdown from this pattern. So we have an inside day along with a D-shaped volume profile, which is likely to give us a lot better price action for tomorrow. Now, if you look at where value area low is going to come in at about 6466.25. The point of control will be 6470.75 with value area high being 6479.25. Now, notice today we were able to close below value area low. That sets up that tomorrow or the following day is likely going to be a high probability that we at least test this level. And if we get above it, well, you know what? We're probably going to 6470. Above that, we're going all the way up towards value area high. Anything above that, we'll be looking for a rerun of Friday's high and then potentially new all-time highs. Now, I do want to caution you guys real quick. As we look at the futures market, we also want to grab our Fibonacci extension tool. I want to measure the A to B leg. Now, we don't know when this market is going to turn and start going back up if it is. If we use the current price low that we have right now, that would give us a price completion of about 65.84. However, if we come all the way down to the minus development area, that gives us a price completion up here about 65.59.5. So we'll have to wait and see when that turn takes place. But I just want to make you guys aware of it ahead of time. So if we start breaking back up, you know where some of those higher targets are, well above all-time highs. Now, as we come over and look at the QQQs real quick, notice we're able to retrace back up towards the 61.8 level on Friday. And then today, we kind of have an inside day, and we have a little bit of a doji candle, or maybe a shooting star type of candle. Is this going to set up an ABC pattern down on the daily chart? Now, for that, we need to go ahead and break the swing low down here at 558.94. However, that doesn't mean we can't play for the target a little bit early. For instance, if this high holds from Friday, and we start coming back down, the target would be about 549.55. So if I can find a way to enter this on an intraday basis, then I can use the ABC target, not for a primary target, but more for a runner type of target. The MACD indicator on the daily chart is still crossed to the downside. Then on the 4-hour chart, notice the MACD indicator basically flatline right around that zero line. But if we start to pull back, it would make sense that we start to pull back towards these high volume nodes. 565 up here to about 567. As we come over and start looking at the 30-minute chart, notice we have this minus development area on the profile. Notice what we were able to do this morning. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this area out real quick just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this morning when the market opened up, what did we do? We came right down towards this area. We wicked into it, boom, rejected out. Now, the second or third time we come into it really increases the probabilities that we go down lower, probably undoing the whole entire minus development area. Then below that, will we come all the way down, undo the entire big candle that we saw last Friday? Now, when we come over, look at the 4-hour chart over here on the NASDAQ futures, notice last night we were able to get above value area high. We came down and then we popped back up above value area high once again today. And now we're back down below that price point. Now I talked about this area right here being target number 1. We already hit that once. However, if you're playing this on the way back down, that can also be an additional target again. Then I'd want to target the high volume area about 23,402. Then down here towards the point of control, potentially value area low off the weekly chart. Now we come over and start looking at the daily profiles real quick. Notice today, if this is going to be the turn, is this going to be a lower high? So here's a high on Friday. Now we have a lower high. And if we start breaking really below this low right here, are we going to have a lower low? Now you can also make the case that we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, then we have a lower low, lower high, and then potentially now are we going to make another lower low in this market? Now, the fact that we were able to come down this morning, we wicked right into this minus development area, missing the P point like we did with the S&P 500. P point was 23,436.5. We rejected away from that, and now the market's trying to come right back down. Now, tonight at 6 o'clock when the markets reopen, we'll have a new P point location. Now, again, the more times we come in the minus development area, the more likely we go ahead and undo the entire minus development area. Anything below that, I want to look back towards of that large up candle we saw on Friday. And then really anything below that price point, I really want to focus on the additional levels that we talked about off the weekly volume profiles. Now, if you guys want to learn about the core plans with my funded futures, make sure to watch this next video right here.